Hello, Lili Loves here, and welcome back to my channel. Unless this is your first time here, which thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for joining us to talk about part 3 of the Eurovision 2023 Iceberg Explained. If you don't know what an iceberg video is, basically it's a way of arranging things. There's tiers 1 through 10 on this iceberg in particular, going from the most commonly well-known things to topics that are a little more deeper, darker, and like a little more, how do I say, obscure? That sounds weird. How do I say obscure? It's obscure. So thank you for coming in and joining us for this video here. If you are a first timer, I hope you do enjoy this video. I have a link in the cards and also in the description box to a playlist with all the different parts of this iceberg video series. Like, you don't have to start at number 1 to get it. You can start here on this one and then just work your way back, or however you want to do it. Also, if you are not a first timer, thank you for your patience with me getting out part 3. I know it's been like 3 months. Long story short, I wrote a script, lost the script, then finally recorded the audio, recorded this video aspect, and ended up having really bad audio on that video aspect. Had to re-record it, the whole thing. I'm hoping this will be edited in a timely manner. The good news is all of the other parts are written at this point, and they just have to have like the scripts edited. So we should not be running into any more delays moving forward here. So, right, let's get all the housekeeping out of the way. So let's go ahead and hop into this iceberg video because it's been long enough. Let's go. Graham Norton spoils host city. To announce what city would host Eurovision, the BBC ran a special edition of The One Show. The show basically went through the pros and cons of Glasgow and of Liverpool, the last 2 cities in the running to host Eurovision. And as Graham Norton, who was one of the hosts for The One Show, went to reveal what city would be hosting, pull the card out of the envelope, you could see on the card Liverpool before the official words came out of his mouth that it was going to be Liverpool hosting. So Graham Norton kind of gave us a little spoiler there. I was watching it live. I even have a clip here we'll insert, and I don't see it, but you can probably tell by the fact that I'm wearing glasses. I don't have the best eyesight in the world, so I am curious if you were someone who has eagle eyes and was able to spot that saying Liverpool. Let me know in the comments section. I really am genuinely curious how many people caught that. Peppa Pig Conga line. To open the voting for the second semi-final, the BBC invited along a true British icon, Peppa Pig, to lead a conga line as the voting polls opened. I honestly am curious if Luke Black was a little jealous he was in semi 1, because I know he's a Peppa Pig fan.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Luke. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip hooray!
Danielle Walsh's Eurovision pre-drinks. For the last couple of years, Eurovision and the EBU have partnered up with TikTok as the platform where they post rehearsal clips, trying to get that sweet, sweet Gen Z engagement, I guess. Anyways, this year, they hired Danielle Walsh to do some interviews at the London Eurovision pre-party, where she mixed up little mocktails for various Eurovision artists and then challenged them to a drinking contest. If you don't know what Danielle Walsh's content usually is, basically she mixes up drinks of vodka on top of vodka on top of vodka and then downs them at dizzying speeds. I mean, anything's a dizzying speed for me because I'm a total lightweight when it comes to booze. To keep it family friendly, she mixed up little mocktails and then challenged Eurovision artists to a drinking contest. For one of them, it was Luke Black, Taya and Selena, Voyager, Vesna, Käärijä, Wild Youth, Pasha Plafrani, Delia, Blanca Paloma, and Loreen, and then challenged the artists to the drinking contest, which she won all of them. Wiwibloggs Lush Lounge. The popular Eurovision fan site Wiwibloggs teamed up with the biggest Lush store in the world to provide a space for Eurovision artists to relax and also perform and meet with fans. Aidan. In 2022, Aidan was a fan favorite competitor at Malta Eurovision Song Contest, Malta's national final, with his song Ritmu. When it was announced he was going to be back for 2023, the fan community was pretty excited. When we heard the song Regina, it became one of the favorites to go on to Eurovision. However, he was disqualified from the contest after he posted on social media encouraging his fans and followers to vote for him. This is a violation of the rules since it gives people who have a bigger following an unfair advantage over smaller and up-and-coming artists who might not have that support behind them. So once he was disqualified, all of his performances of Regina were removed from the YouTube official MESC page, and he did threaten to sue the broadcaster as well for taking his content down and for removing him from the contest. However, it looks like everything with that got resolved in a more peaceful manner without going fully to court, as he was brought on for the final of MESC to be an interval act. TVR sues the EBU, does Eurovision anyways. So 2023 was a lawsuit-heavy year. We've already talked about two. Well, this is the second one in this video. I promise you there'll be more lawsuits that we talk about in the future as well. Basically, following the shenanigans that occurred with the voting during the 2022 contest, Romania's broadcaster TVR threatened to sue the EBU. This was for not allowing them to use their votes that had been cast by their own jurors. They then ran a poll to determine if they would participate at Eurovision in 2023 or not. The public poll decided that they would participate in the contest, so this will not be our last lawsuit or our last time talking about Romania on this iceberg, I promise. Gala Dragot, interval act. Gala Dragot was a Belgian artist who participated in the Belgian national final of EuroSong. She is of Albanian descent and was invited to perform as an interval act at Albania's national selection show, Festivali Kingas. She appeared on stage and performed a couple of songs. It was kind of nice seeing someone who was going to be competing in a later national final invited on as an interval act at Vic. No Flemish at EuroSong, Belgium. So, we had two national finals called EuroSong, Belgium national final, and also Ireland's. We'll talk about both throughout this iceberg. I'll try to denote which one's which, but we're talking about the Belgian one because we're talking about Flemish. If you don't know, Belgium has two broadcasters that they use for Eurovision, or just in general, they have two broadcasters. 1 year, so every other year they switch off. 1 year, the Flemish broadcaster will do it, and the other year, the Wallonian broadcaster will do it, and they kind of go back and forth. So this year was the Flemish broadcaster's turn, and at their national final, they had no Flemish language songs. The show was presented in Flemish, and they did have Dutch artists along with Flemish artists on to discuss the songs, as the jury. However, all the songs were in English or French, which I just think is kind of odd. Mannekin Pis dressed as Gustav. So Mannekin Pis is a statue in Brussels. It's a part of a fountain. It's like a peeing cherub. This statue gets dressed up for sporting events and various things throughout the year. He's got a bunch of different costumes. There's an archive of it online. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of cute. Anyways, to show support for Gustav at Eurovision this year, they dressed him up in a little miniature version of Gustav's stage costume. Johnny Lydon hates Eurovision. I'm trying to decide how petty I want to go here. I have something written out that's more objective, but I've known who Johnny Lydon was for years, and yeah. Anyways, he's basically the 1970s equivalent of an influencer who was handed a music career just because people like the way he dressed, so he really does need to get off of his high horse. Anyways, let's focus on why he's on this list. Right, so Johnny Lydon, despite having expressed his distaste for Eurovision, tried to represent Ireland at Eurovision by participating in their national final with the song Hawaii, along with his band Public Image Limited. I know other people have made fun of his vocal performance for Hawaii, but come on, I don't know. I listen to Tom Waits, so I'm not going to complain about vocal performances, because you're writing a song about your wife going through something terrible. I'm going to be okay with your voice not being completely on point for that. Anyways, just the fact that he doesn't like Eurovision, he's expressed how he finds it to be abhorrent, but still try to go ahead and represent Ireland at Eurovision just seems a little weird. And I understand as people get older, their taste in music changes, and he is a professional contrarian. He's basically spent the last 50 years, going on 60 years at this point, saying and doing things just to get a rise out of people. EuroSong peanut butter giveaway. During the Late Late Show's EuroSong selection process show, there was a giveaway for peanut butter. and it featured quite heavily, and I think the peanut butter was the real winner of the night. Ian Baum. Originally, Ian Baum was set to do the staging for Ireland in Liverpool. This was prior to a Twitter thread by the Eurovision unofficial Discord server that brought to light some of Ian's transphobic tweets. Once this came to light, he was removed from the Eurovision team, while Youth and ERT both put out a statement. I know I wasn't the biggest fan of the song We Are One, but I was glad to see the band and the broadcaster on the right side of this, separating ties with someone who is violently transphobic. And I mean, he can console himself. Ian might not have gotten the job anymore, but he can console himself. The Queen of the Turfs came out to defend him. Reaction to Ireland not qualifying. Up until 2023, Ireland was the most successful country at Eurovision historically speaking. They had gathered up 7 wins in the contest and were the most winning country until Sweden tied them this year, with Lorraine's second win. That being said, they've only qualified for the final one time in the last decade, and that was back in 2018 with Ryan O'Shaughnessy. Put a pin in that name. We're going to come back to him later in a moment, but he had some points. Like clockwork, the local Irish fans came out of the woodwork when Ireland failed to qualify again, complaining about the lack of qualification, saying things like, what do we have to do to qualify? I mean, personally, I think that sending a song that sounds modern and fresh may help, but that could be a challenge for RTE. The band Wild Youth shared on their Instagram stories some videos from fans, kind of like complaining about this as well. I'm not going to fault the band. I'm not going to even fault the vocalist, who did make a post on Instagram that he literally deleted, kind of putting in a lack of joy about the lack of qualification on there. You're going to want to show support. When we get disappointed, we all can commiserate. It's going to happen. I'm not going to complain too much about any of that. The Turfs, who were angry about the firing of a bigot they otherwise would not have known the name of, pointed to this being a sign that Europe wants to defend women and girls. Ugh. Gag me. I told you guys to put a pen in the name for Ryan O'Shaughnessy because not only is he the only Irish act to qualify in the last decade, but I think he had a really good take on this, which was he started out by posting on Twitter, Irish Eurovision delegation needs mixing up. I think we should think about doing what the UK did a few years back and outsource required jobs to music industry folks like myself. In 2018, when I qualified with a song Together, I stepped in as creative director after refusing to emerge from an exploding cake and pushed hard to have 2 male dancers on stage with me, which was a hard sell at the time. I was responsible for signing off on the final project of the track itself. I hired an independent stylist and made sure that the project as a whole had some content to it and it wasn't just a song but a message. All of these factors helped get Ireland into the final. And I really think that that's an important thing that's happening with that, where he makes a point of let's outsource to someone else as far as choosing acts go, and let's not just go for gimmicks when it comes to staging things. And I really think that that's a good approach, and I feel like the RTE should really listen to Ryan when it comes to this. I think it's probably the best take I've seen from someone professional in Ireland regarding this issue. Riley disqualification speculation. Songs at Eurovision cannot have been commercially released prior to September the previous year. There was some speculation that Riley might be disqualified because in October, he did perform the song Breaking My Heart in South Korea. Now, this is after September 1st, so, it's not against the Eurovision rules. However, Denmark can be kind of strict when it comes to songs being sung or revealed too early before they actually head into the national final. Cyprus national final canceled. In 2022, Cyprus had initially announced they were going to go with a national final for the 2023 year. They decided to go with an internal selection though and chose Andrew Lambro, who competed at Australia You Decide in 2022. So I originally was going to go ahead and talk about national final plans they had for 2024, kind of like as a teaser. However, we're going to switch that up because they're not doing a national final for the 2024 season. They had 3 different versions of a national final at one point. You know what? This is spoilers for the 2024 Iceberg. Just come back next year and we'll talk more about that. Kazakhstan Debut. Every year since Kazakhstan first competed at Junior Eurovision, we speculate that this will be their first year coming to the adult contest. It wasn't in 2023, and Kazakhstan will not be at Junior Eurovision in Nice later this year either. So we'll have to see if the speculation continues for 2024. Fusa Nocta Live. Mi Familia by Fusa Nocta was a popular song that competed at Benidorm Fest 2023. While that was up until the live performance, which was less than spectacular, though that opening shot does still get me hyped. Barcelona pre-party audience. The crowd at the pre-parties can be a bit rowdy since it's a party atmosphere and many have been drinking, and alcohol does impair judgment. At the party in Barcelona, the crowd booed Ireland's act Wild Youth and San Marino's act The Peak Jacks. For the Peak Jacks, not only were they booed, but people also chanted Ronella. Ronella Hajiti was the person who performed for Albania back in 2022. She did fail to qualify for Eurovision, but she did come back and compete at the national final for San Marino with another song. EBU had released a statement after this, scolding fans for this behavior. Due Vite gets changed. The song Due Vite that represented Italy by Marco Mangoni had to be shortened. This happens almost every year with Italy. Their songs at Sanremo don't have to be less than 30 minutes long. However, when it comes to Eurovision songs, do have to be less than 3 minutes. Future Lover lyrics. I really like the song and I like the staging, but the fact the lyrics were lifted from Twitter and Tumblr really does put a damper on my ability to enjoy and love the song as much as I want to. It's really got me conflicted, but basically, lyrics from the second verse are taken directly from a Tumblr post, and also there are lyrics in the first verse that are taken from Pinterest quotes. Support. Despite many Polish fans not liking the fact that Blanka won the national final, there was still signs and specials in Poland showing support for her. Käärijä Support / memes. Finland was so pumped to have Cha 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 represent them at Eurovision this year. There were people selling items labeled as Cha 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 just because they were lime green. A lot of different companies had changed their logos to turn bright lime green and also sport bowl cuts like Angry Birds did it and this wildlife charity did it. I like the wildlife charity the one the most because it's got like a little green bolero and a bowl cut on a seal. I think it's cute. Moldova's top 3. The top 3 acts at Moldova's national final were all former Eurovision acts. Pasha did represent Moldova back in 2012 with the song Lautner. He also, I believe, was a co-writer on the song in 2013 and was on stage. He played the piano in the 2013 performance for Omi, which was Aliana Moon, who came third in the national final this year. That was when she competed prior at Eurovision. And we're all going to totally remember Sunstroke Project from when they competed with Otira back in 2010 and gave us the truly iconic Runaway that's gone on to be a hugely successful meme outside of the Eurovision space. And when they came back in 2017 with their song Hey Mama and got 3rd place, which is the highest result Moldova has ever had in the contest. It was just one of those things where like every single one of the top 3 were acts we've seen before, and I kind of am into it. Like I would love for Aliana Moon to come back in 2024 because like she competed in Malmo before. She represented Moldova last time Eurovision was in Malmo, and I really like Omi. Omi is my favorite Moldovan song, and I like what she does. So if she can come back, that would be pretty cool. All right, so that's the last entry for this tier of the iceberg. Thank you all so much for your patience in letting me get this out. I know it's kind of late, but thank you again. And if you stayed to the end and watched all of this, thank you even more. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave me a like and a comment? I would appreciate that for that algorithmic boost. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now because that way you don't miss the next video. And guys, we're heading into the Eurovision season proper. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the Eurovision content to keep flowing. Thank you all so much, and I will see you again soon. Bye.